It's lovely to have you, Denise, or SCC, author of Past Lives That Matter, How to Remember, Heal and Transform Them. So you are the past life detective, I hear.
Self-named, yes.
Self-named. How did you suddenly discover that you had a passion for sleuthing people's past lives?
Quite by accident.
Was it? Yeah.
You know when you join courses and you think, I want to be a... Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't the plan.
That wasn't the plan.
No. I had already written one book, but it took me 13 years and I wasn't really keen to do that again.
Yeah.
But what happened, I've mentioned, I think, when we've been on other interviews, that I had come up to Norwich from London and it's all medieval here. Beautiful ruins, of really well kept as well. There's tons of history. And I had a reading from a shaman, which is like a journey, they call it. And all he could see when I asked about the present day was these past lives from medieval times that needed healing, like unrequited love, unjust passings. And he did some healing work during that session. But after that, it kind of unlocked something in me. And I'd been writing just about the history because I love it. And I started to realise that there were several steps that led me to naming myself the past life detective, because I noticed there were location synchronicities where I'd lived in various different places to where I came to understand my past lives. And they'd lived or died there. And then when I was talking about it with some of my spiritual friends, we both get we've mentioned that word piloerection before, which is when you get the goosebumps and all the hairs go up your arms. And the weird thing was I'd never had that happen before in all the years that I've been on like a self-development path. And the other person, if they were aligned with me and we were talking about past lives, the same thing would happen at the same time, which is pretty unusual. It's normally like an individual sign, that I'm on the right track, but they both get all the hairs go up and they're not either tingling around the head or like it. Quite often it starts in the feet and then comes up the legs, which is an unusual thing as well. And it's not because I'm in a draft or it's a cold day, So that was one of the other things that showed we were on the right track. And I'm just checking now, date synchronicities was one of the big things that started coming up. I realised that, that's so-and-so's birth date or year of birth. And that had leapt out to me when I was researching that person's past life, that there was a date that correlated. So that would either be a date that the past life had died, which is quite often the case. It's usually tied to some kind of big event or trauma. So it could be coronation or the big wedding, and some maybe an execution. Obviously, with some of the characters I've got in my book, they got the chop,
Right.
So
lost their
these
heads.
are all things that, they're sort of trauma markers.
Right, so it sounds like initially what started it off was your own kind of experiences. It sounds like you're one of these people that, and I think, Mariella, you are to a degree as well, aren't you? When you see patterns in things, particularly things like numbers and what have you, you don't just think, oh, that's a coincidence. Would that be right to say, Denise?
Absolutely. That's the thing. It's a pattern recognition, which all humans have.
Mariella, you often spot like triple numbers and what have you.
Triple numbers, yeah, particularly when we're driving.
Things
like that. Yeah.
You've got two sort of opposite ends of the equation here this evening, because as you know, you already know me quite well. I can be quite skeptical sometimes. I often need quite a lot of proof for things. Mariella is, I think, less skeptical, more open to some of these things, aren't you?
I still question, but I'm open.
Question.
I'm open to being shown.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So,
and based on personal experience too.
Yeah.
You sort of then you sort of can't negate what's being presented because it's affected you in a way that you just can't deny that it's synchronicitous or
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and if you get it happen least 2 or 3 times in different ways about the same thing that you're
Yes.
focusing on, that's when you know. Because as the past life detective, I don't just go on one clue, because obviously to wrap up a case, you're always going to have more evidence, aren't you?
Right.
So I do, as a rule of thumb, tend to want to have at least 3 clues before I
Okay.
decide, right,
Mhm.
that was their past life, you
Right.
know, and what was the lesson that they were supposed to learn from that as well.